How is everyone doing on this mighty fine day? I am Alex Coleman, and I have no clue what I'm doing because this is my first ever YouTube video. Clap it up. You don't have to. I'm just kidding. You probably didn't even do that. But today we are going to be doing something very unique, something very original. An MCU tier list. We have nearly 50 or so properties to get through, a lot to just judge, a lot to make people mad with. And yeah, I mean, what a way to kick off this page. Y'all let me know what y'all want to see over here. If you don't know, I make TikToks, I yap over there, but as you know, they might get banned, who knows. So I am over here now, and I decided to, tap into the long form content and see what we can do over here. But yeah, but before we get into this, what do they say over here? Like, comment, subscribe. I don't like that. But let's get into it. I've changed up the tiers a little bit. We got all-timer, very good, good stuff, mid. Oof, just no. And then Crimes Against Humanity, which I'm not really sure off the dome which is going to go in this. Actually, no, I'm lying. There are a couple that really irk me. One specifically very much irks me. But let's get this started with Hulk. We have a lot to cover. My God, they've just pumped a lot of stuff out, haven't they? Jesus Christ. Incredible Hulk. Automatically off the bat, just forgettable. I really don't think many people are, when they're revisiting the MCU, are going, oh my God, I cannot wait for the Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton's fine. It's probably the most badass the Hulk has looked, not including the Avengers, the first Avengers, but it's mid. It's mid. Let's be real. Let's just be honest with ourselves. The first Iron Man, though. This is one that ages like a fine wine. This is great MCU stuff. RDJ, perfect casting. I love the world commentary. This is just how a blockbuster should be. They nailed it with this. And I went back to rewatch this, actually, most of the MCU, post Deadpool and Wolverine, just to see how far we've come or how far we've fallen, actually. And yeah, this thing really just hit. It hit, and I definitely think it belongs in very good. Anything below would probably feel like disrespect, honestly, for the godfather of the MCU. On the flip side, though, we have its sequel. It is a sloppy Joe of a mess. One that I do enjoy eating occasionally, but no. It has probably the most lackluster of third acts. Probably the most lackluster third act in all of the MCU. And it's just it's such a mess. It's such a setup mess. Black Widow's beautiful, though, so we'll put it in mid. And I want my bullet. But yeah, it's whatever. Thor 1, same category. The Shakespearean stuff didn't hit for me. Thor's blonde eyebrows did not hit for me. But the cast is cool, and maybe one day I'll revisit this, but I just don't see myself ever coming back to this. It's a bit, boring for me. But I do kind of like Thor's character journey in this. Captain America, the First Avenger. This is one that I definitely like more than most. I like the World War II setting. I like Steve Rogers. I like seeing how noble and dorky he is. I think this is good stuff. Some would argue worst MCU. I disagree. I think it's bias. The First Avengers. Wow. Special. I remember being a little child, a wee little lad, seeing that May 12th, or whatever the hell the date was, poster advertising this. And I was like, I cannot believe they're making an Avengers movie. Now, disregard Joss Whedon as a person. This thing also holds up, in my opinion. I think it's just one of the best. It started the team-up genre. All the character dynamics meshing and coming together, they just nailed perfectly, and the action is still dope. Yeah, I think this thing still rocks. I'll probably go, I think this belongs in the very good, I don't know, actually. Yeah, it belongs in the very good tier as well. You could put it all-timer for the impact because it did change the modern landscape of cinema in general as far as blockbuster filmmaking, but I'll go very good. Actually, we'll do it like that. We'll try to put them in order. Obviously, things will change. Parts of this list will shift, but we'll try to do that. Iron Man 3, one of my personal favorite Christmas movies. I think this is overhated. I think a lot of people hated it because of the Mandarin twist, which grow up, we got the actual Mandarin in Shang-Chi. You have no reason to be mad anymore. But I think I really enjoy that, Tony deals with his PTSD in this. I think it's really cool seeing a vulnerable hero and just seeing him very resourceful without the suit. That's really dope. And plus the whole Iron Legion rocks. It has its faults, but I think it's good stuff. I might have it. I don't know. We'll keep it like that. Thor: The Dark World. Ooh, brother. Ooh, that is not a pretty sight. Honestly, my first instinct is just it's one of these two, and to be honest with you, I think it's a crime against humanity. I know this thing is not good. This is one of the worst pieces of dog shit the MCU's ever churned out. Yeah, not good. The Winter Soldier. Wow. One of the MCU's best, genuinely. Great spy espionage thriller. The Winter Soldier rocks, let me tell you. I love doing that. Arm flip thing. Bucky's great. Steve's great. Putting this black and white character in this gray world. Yeah, and it has the best look for Black Widow. So automatically, I think we have our first inclusion into the all-timer category, because this is one that I constantly revisit in the MCU. For sure. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think also has to join it. The way this thing brought fresh new energy into the MCU with these ragtag group of misfits, James Gunn did his thing. I think some of the best characters we've got in the MCU reside in this movie. Such a fun time, great space adventure stuff, and heartfelt. And yeah, one that I also revisit constantly if I am going to go watch the MCU. Avengers Age of Ultron. This one's a mixed bag, because I think Ultron is like one of the best villains in the MCU, like top 5. But it also suffers from the Iron Man 2 thing of being a setup movie, and it kind of to its detriment. It has a lot of issues, but it's such an enjoyable mess per se that I can disregard it, because I think a lot about meteors, the purity of them. And I do think a lot about putting this in good stuff, because I enjoy it. What the hell? Why not? It's good stuff. Honestly, I think I enjoy it more. I don't know. I really don't know how to rank these, but, no order. Maybe it's like this. Maybe right now. Ant-Man. More like Boar-Man. I do not give a shit. Sorry, Scott. Paul Rudd's great, but I don't care for this character, if I'm honest. This is like... It's also mid, but, like, honestly... It's probably better than all these, if I'm honest. But, like, even then, I'm putting stuff that I really don't care about. Like, it's just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Civil War. Wow. Special. Truly special what this thing did. And it's one of the few movies that looks horrifically grim to the eye. Yet, I'm able to bypass that because I'm so viscerally engaged in this story. I love these characters. I love this conflict. It's interesting. I can see people picking different sides. I mean, if you're not Team Iron Man, grow up. But yeah, I think this thing had the action, it had the emotional weight, all the characters. It's a mini Avengers team up. And I think it does belong in all-timer. Already got 3 all-timers. I know we're kind of like blowing our load early, but I think it belongs there. Doctor Strange, more like Doctor Forgettable. I don't care as well. I think this suffers from the same thing as Ant-Man, just no sauce. Also has one of the worst villains, but Benedict Cumberbatch is cool. I like the whole Inception-looking visuals, but like once again, this is like we'll see later in the line, but it's sequel for me. You'll see how I rank it, but it's like way better than this, way better. Do I think it's like... See, this is the thing. The MCU is consistently mid, at worst. You know what I mean? There's no like truly abominable things except for like a handful. And I could see people arguing a lot of these being an oof, but I'm such a page shill that I'm like, I can't. But, it's whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, as a man with daddy issues, this thing hits like crack in the 80s. Once again, the emotional weight is super high. I think the whole Peter and his father thing is just, it hits on a different level. And we get to, grow with these characters a lot more. And it looks visually great. James Gunn cooked with all of these, in my opinion. And I think this belongs in good stuff, high good stuff. Probably like this. I see some people hating on this. You're a child. You're an infant. I don't know how you could hate on any of the Guardians movies. I think they all do very good stuff. Spider-Man Homecoming. This one causes a lot of debate and stir on the timeline. I think, how do I put this? It is a good interpretation of Spider-Man in this universe that we've created. I think he works well for this story. It works well for the MCU. But as a Spider-Man thing, going from Tobey, it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like he gets a lot of things handed to him. I feel like he's a lot in Iron Man's shadow, which I don't like. But he's also a kid. You know, it's one of those things where I hear the criticism and praise, and I can hear both sides. I feel it. And I still enjoy it. Because, you know, it does have those core Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man moments, like when Peter decides to, you know, save the world instead of going to his homecoming. That's a good moment. It's just, you know, and also I think the Vulture is great. It's just like also, you know, it's not my Spider-Man per se that I want to see, but I think it's solid in the context of the universe. So we'll go with good stuff. Actually, I don't know. It might go in mid. I feel like there should be a tier in between because I think I have this as like a 3-star in Letterboxd, which would constitute it as above mid, but, you know, we'll put it in good stuff for now, but bottom of good stuff. Thor Ragnarok. This thing, you want to talk about reinvigorating a character. It made me care tenfold about Thor. Taika Waititi balancing the humor, the drama. You know, I think he did it very good. It's also just so colorful and vibrant for, you know, an MCU film. And I think that, you know, this is just so much fun, especially when we land on Sakaar. You know, we see, you know, Hulk, Loki. I love that scene between Thor and Loki when they're in the elevator together. That's an all-timer for the MCU and characters. Yeah, there's a lot to like here. And this is one that I rewatched and I still loved it like I did when when did this come out? 2018, I would have been 16. Yeah, I think this is very good. Very good. Where do I put? I think, we'll go very good. We'll go very good for now. Might even go all-timer. We'll see. Black Panther. The power of the Black Panther will now be stripped away. Yeah, this thing, cultural moment for sure. This thing was special when it came out. Wow, this was a moment, and I rewatched it like I did most of these, and this thing still holds up, except for that last third act battle. That thing looked like, but you know, the world building, Ryan Coogler is just, you know, you get a real auteur working in the MCU and you feel it. The world building for Wakanda is just second to none. It looks great. Chadwick is perfect for the role. These characters, Michael B. Jordan, is this your king? All-timer villain. You know, a lot to love here. Rip Chadwick, man. We lost a great one because this thing is just, it's very good. It's very good. Now, I feel like, is this release order? Because I feel like we've gone very far, very fast. We're on Infinity War already. Wow. Have we really gone fast? Are we missing anything? I don't know. But Infinity War. Now, for me, the MCU's best. I think it peaked here. I don't even know how you can even attain another level to, like, surpass this or even, like, come level. Because, like, this thing is just all-timer. You already knew where it was going to be there. As far as subverting everyone's expectations, as far as the villain winning, this being Thanos' movie. They did the Dark Knight thing. They made this the villain's movie, and we grow to care for this villain. We understand, we empathize with him. We start to see his side of the story, which is what every movie wishes they could do with their villain and making a great villain. And this thing, it just bringing all of these characters together, it's unprecedented. And I can't believe they nailed it. I really can't believe it because this thing is a once-in-a-generation type movie that I still think holds up today. I rewatched it recently, back in like August. Yeah, great film. Also, the best Thor we've gotten in any of these movies. That scene with him and Rocket where he's like, what else could I really lose? Or something like that. That shit hit. And also Thor arriving on Wakanda. Oh my, there's just so many all-timer moments in this movie. I could glaze for hours, but we have a limit. We have to stay on track. Ant-Man and the Wasp. For me, this is where we go into the oof category for the first time. No, not for me. Not for me. This thing doesn't really have a villain. The story's not engaging enough. These characters aren't engaging enough for me to care. And just one of the most forgettable projects. I remember when this came out, people were arguing because it, I believe it was in between Infinity War and Endgame. They were like, oh, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, a sigh of relief after all that darkness in Infinity War. I'm like, we're not going to judge this movie based on when it came out. Like, in a vacuum, this thing is not good, in my opinion. So it's going to go in the oof. I sound like an Ant-Man hater because I am. But I still love Paul Rudd. Same thing kind of applies for Captain Marvel. It's kind of in the oof category for me. I think Brie Larson does great with what she's given, but it's like this character, she's not interesting enough in this movie, which is, I think, a good thing that happens in the sequel. They make me interested a lot more in her. This one, though, it's just like, I don't care enough. You know what I mean? The 90s thing is cool because I saw Blockbuster, but like, I don't, forgettable. I tried rewatching this. I couldn't get past 20 minutes. This also has the worst villain, actually. I keep saying that with certain film, but like, this might be the worst. Yan Rog, I believe his name is. The fact that I remember that is, they're going to have to like drug test me, but not good. Avengers Endgame. Now, a lot of people would put this an all-timer. I can definitely see why, but for me, it's a great conclusion. It wraps up everything in a nice little neat bow, but it's poorly paced. There's a lot of things I have, issues with, and it's just like, I'm really watching this film for the last act. But it's such a hard film to grade because it's a cinematic event. It's a roller coaster. It's 10 years culminating in this. How can I really rate it like a normal film? Because it's not. It's unprecedented. And I think my biggest gripe, maybe with this film is that I feel like we should have sat more in this new world that's like been blipped. We didn't really get to like feel that as much as I wanted to, maybe. But I think the culmination of it is just, it's still great. Tony, I'm not gonna spoil. The snap heard around the world. Yeah, it's great. It's good stuff. And I cry every single time when Pepper tells him, "It's okay, you can rest now." We'll go very good. Not all timer though. I know it's gonna shock some people, but it's not in my top 5 MCU. Far From Home, a film that I feel like is overhated as well. It's solid. I think it's better than Homecoming. I don't know why people hate on this movie. Well, I do know. People think that's Peter repeating the same arc, which I understand, but he's a little kid. The whole Edith Glasses thing where he gives him to Jake Gyllenhaal, he was vulnerable. He's a little kid. He's having all the weight of the world on his shoulders. I understood it. Do I think it's good writing? No. But I understand. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal, fire all the drones now, makes up for all of the issues in this movie, in my opinion. So just for that, I think we have to go, we'll go good stuff. I still like this movie. Now, moving into Phase 4, we're kind of zooming here, guys. This is where we start to see the cracks in the universe. This is where people start thinking maybe they should have ended it. I wasn't one of those people. Now I'm kind of like, yeah. There's a lot of good projects here that I do like, but I hate to get sidetracked, but I feel like with comic books, those things can go on forever and ever and ever. You can kill off characters, bring them back with no consequence. But with movies, with film, there needs to be a sense of finality, or else the story has no weight. And this universe had such a amazing conclusion with Endgame that trying to one-up it and continue it was just always going to be a tall order. And I think they tried to rush getting back to that peak way too soon. That's just my opinions on Phase 4. But starting us off, we have WandaVision, a series, because they decided to branch into TV, which they kind of half-assed TV, if I'm honest, because the 6-episode format not good. Stinks. Needs a candle. But WandaVision did adhere to that. It had 9 episodes, I believe, and it had such mystery and intrigue when it first came out. So many people were talking about it. I was so locked in, dialed. And I think it holds up all the way until the final episode where they have that big, stupid CGI fight. And they kind of MCU-ify, stereotypically, the show. You know, I think it's solid. Wanda's a great character. I love that vision on vision conversation. One of the best MCU scenes. But you know, I think it's good stuff. It might even go into very good. You know, I do quite enjoy me some WandaVision. For now, we'll go very good, but subject to change. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, the Flag Smashers were not it, buddy. They can be delivering my DoorDash soon. I don't know what they were thinking with that. I like Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie together. I like Falcon becoming Captain America. I just think the series, like, its best character was, what's his name? Agent, you know who. What's his name? The other Captain America that I can't seem to remember because I have CTE. But you know who I'm talking about. He's a very great character. But this also suffers from that, like, final episode is atrocious. And it just also, it didn't hit as much as I wanted it to. It's probably going in mid for me. It's not an oof, but it's close. Black Widow came out 10 years too late. Don't know why they waited this long. Natasha is an amazing character that they should have capitalized on around the Civil War period, especially when this is when it takes place. But also just extremely forgettable. You know, the best thing about this is Yelena. Thank you for that, but other than that, we're not really jacking with Black Widow in this movie. But it is probably it's kind of an oof. But it's I feel like I'm harsh. I feel like I'm very harsh, and I also look very sexist putting all the women leads there. I don't know. I'll be honest. It's probably, we'll put it in mid for now because I don't think it's awful per se, but it's like, what are we doing? Now, Shang-Chi. This is where, you know, there's a bit of light and hope beaming in and gleaming in for Phase 4. A very good origin story. Probably the best hand-to-hand combat we've gotten in the MCU. I think this probably goes into good stuff. High good stuff. Probably put it like right here. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Wenwu's great. The Mandarin. Shang-Chi's a good character. This movie is so good that I was able to tolerate Awkwafina. Eternals, it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes of characters I really don't care about. Sorry. It looks great. Chloe Zhao, you did your thing, but I don't care enough about these characters for me to even put this above oof. Like, I'm sorry. I'm a hater, I can tell, but no, not for me. We're not even gonna entertain longer than that. Hawkeye. Now, we are in the Christmas spirit. The Christmas vibes reign supreme in this. But a show about Hawkeye is mainly used to set up Kate Bishop, who's a great character, but wanted a little more Hawkeye. And Kingpin kind of goes out sad, considering what we saw in Daredevil's seasons 1 through 3. Kind of annoyed me. Bit of a sour ending. But I do like Kate Bishop a lot. I don't really remember much, but I do remember the vibe it gave me. We'll go in mid. We'll go mid. I probably care about it more than the rest of these. Maybe. Depends. Spider-Man No Way Home. Wow. This, I will say it, probably my favorite theater experience. Better than Endgame, better than Infinity War. Because Spider-Man is such a character that is, like, deep down, intrinsically interwoven into my soul and my core. Him and Batman. And seeing Toby and Andrew was just an ethereal, euphoric experience that, like, I can't really describe in words. It's like the only time where I was just like, the theater became a literal coliseum of people just screaming and shouting, and I wasn't pissed at it because I low-key joined in. It looks like garbage. It is not a pretty looking movie. It looks computer generated garbage, but I value the emotions this film gives me. And you want to talk about fan service and nostalgia and cameo. The nostalgia services the story moves Tom's Spider-Man's character forward. And there's a lot to love here. I'm sorry. I don't care. As much hate as this movie now gets, I will not be joining and partaking in it because through its faults, it invokes an emotion in me. I think that's important in art, that emotion reigns supreme. So for that, I'm going in very good. We're gonna put that probably around here. That's probably what I do. I actually literally have a ranking of the MCU. I just can't seem to remember where I put everything. It's on Letterboxd, but you know. Moon Knight made me go night-night. I don't remember a single thing. Love Oscar Isaac. Like Moon Knight. I just don't... Like, this is the thing with the MCU 6-episode series. There's nothing to savor out of it. It doesn't stay with me past the initial time I watch it. It probably belongs in the same category as this, but it's better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is great. I don't care. I love this movie. I've seen it twice in the past, 3 months, because this is a film that they allowed a director named Sam Raimi to cook to a limit. It wasn't even his full power. It was probably 65%. And in that 65%, we see more sauce in this film than the majority of the MCU. That is a fact. Wanda, one of our best villains. I love the simple theme of having Doctor Strange. The simple message is just, are you happy? It's so simple, but it's so poignant. And this thing looks great. Wanda going through that gong or the bell and just contorting her body. I love that they made this semi-horror because that's how it should be. I think the Illuminati, what Wanda does is just so fun. This is how we take the multiverse stuff and just subvert expectations instead of just showing cameos. Who gives a shit about seeing the Illuminati? Just have Wanda go crazy. That's what I love. Yeah, I like this film a lot. I will not hear the haters. Sam Raimi reigns supreme. That scene where Wanda is I'm not a monster. I'm a mother. Damn right. Goes in very good. It honestly might crack top 10 MCU for me. It's debatable. It really is. It really is. Ms. Marvel, probably the most coherent MCU show / series because most of these series end in they rush all the ending and it doesn't end in a complete manner. This one actually does, but it's I don't really care for Ms. Marvel. I think Iman Vellani, I believe, she's great, but it's not a character I really care for. So I'm going to put that in mid as well. Thor Love and Blunder. This is a film that ages like sour milk. I don't like it. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. They literally it's too jokey. They make a joke out of cancer. What are we doing? I love the cast. It's just I love the look. I think Taika Waititi has a cool artistic style. But it's just this thing is just unforgivably bad. It's not funny. They make Thor the butt of the joke in the worst ways. He can't be taken seriously. The moments of seriousness can't be taken seriously. And that ending, that third act where they bring all the kids together with the Zeus Thunderbolt is just I wince every time I watch it. It's not good. I'm going to put this in just no. It's not as bad as Thor the Dark World. But the more I think about it, this idea comes into my mind where I want to put it into a Crimes Against Humanity. But I'm not going to. She-Hulk, overhated. Not my favorite MCU series, but overhated. It's exactly how her character should be. I'll put this in mid. I'll put it in mid. The mid section is getting a bit overflowed, but we'll leave it like that. Werewolf by Night. I'm a sucker for horror. I'm a sucker for monsters. And is this Michael Giacchino? I believe he directed this. One of our great composers. I think this is just a good time. I think it looks really good. I love the black and white aesthetic. Yeah, very solid. Good stuff for sure. Wakanda Forever is one that hits you like a train emotionally. The cast, Ryan Coogler, they were put into unforeseen circumstances with the tragic passing of Chadwick. And I think they handled this so well as a celebration of him, a celebration of this character. And this is one that, you know, just, it hits me every single time. I love the score. I think it does a lot for Shuri's character. This thing literally made Shuri, it took Shuri from being a side character and made her a whole compelling main character. That is such a tough task. It's visually really good. I think Namor is one of the best MCU villains. And yeah, they handled this so well, impeccably well. Long live Chadwick. I think this belongs in, I think I'm going to put this in, it's, for me, it might be very good, but I'll go good stuff. I think it's high good stuff. I think it's high good stuff. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, nah. Get that shit bottom of Crimes Against Humanity. This right here is the epitome of everything I dislike with the MCU as far as the world being lazy, just redoing the same bull crap, making uninteresting, uninspired stuff. Kang is cool, but what happened with that is just, we not going to talk about that. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of Ant-Man. I'll be honest with you. This thing, and having your next big baddie Kang lose to Ant-Man in his first appearance in like a film, terrible. Whoever was in charge of that, you might have to also be delivering my DoorDash soon. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This one is another one that emotionally wrecked me. This one made Rocket one of the best Guardians characters. Not just that, one of the best MCU characters. I love the way this brings together and culminates these characters' arcs and just the way they end. I love the decision that James Gunn decided to do with having. It's such a inspired decision to have Peter and Gamora not get together. They move on. Any other lazy director probably or would have, had them get back together and wrap everything nice in a neat bow, contrived bullcrap. But he decides to stand strong after what happened in Infinity War and Endgame, and I think that's just great. This thing nails everything for me. It's one of the best. It's one of the best, and I think for me it might be an all-timer. I think I have this currently very high in my MCU rankings. I'm truly debating. I think I'm going to put it in all-timer. It's one of the best. James Gunn, you're great. The holiday special, fun, good stuff. Secret Invasion was a terror attack on my eyes. Don't know what they were thinking with this one. This is like, it's a show for sure. I'm gonna leave it at that. The best way to describe this is looking at that image of Emilia Clarke with Drax's arm. Yeah, that got it. We don't need to talk anymore about that. That's a crime against humanity. Loki, the best Disney Plus series by far. Loki continues to be one of the best characters in the MCU. Yeah, great stuff. This and WandaVision saved the shows for me. Yeah. Continue doing more stuff like that, Marvel, and we will be there. The Marvels. Overhated. This was so much fun. I forget the director's name, but I believe it's a she. She did wonders for making this so lively to watch. The dynamic camera movement, the fight sequences. This did a lot for Carol Danvers as a character. All three of these women together are just electric. I won't hear the hate on this movie. This is like so much fun, and it's light years ahead of the first. This for me belongs in good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. I don't know where I'd put it in good stuff, but it's somewhere. Echo, wow. I haven't seen, so we're gonna have to add a new tier because I have not seen this. We'll put this in haven't seen. I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it, so I just didn't watch it. It might be good, it might not be, but I just wasn't feeling it. What If? if we're counting the first season, I feel like it's like uninspired for the choices of what they decide to do with their universe. I like the Ultron stuff, but like for a show that's What If, like all they do is like take a character and they're like, what if Iron Man was named John instead of Tony? It's like the most tamest decisions when we could be doing so much better. But the first season is fine, but I don't like this whole interconnected thing because it like limits how the show turns out. So I'm going to put this in oof. For what this could have been, it's a bit of an oof. Now we're down to our final two, the most recent. We'll save Deadpool and Wolverine for last because it's one that it's a bit divisive and I have a strong opinion on it. But Agatha All Along for me was a big surprise. I love the horror references in this. I think all the characters are just fun. Yeah, I think Agatha's cool. Agatha's cool in my books. We'll put this in good stuff. One of the best MCU shows for sure. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine, or as I might call it sometimes, Dead Poop and Wolver shit. Nah. How do I put this? Not the biggest fan. I think it is soulless. I think it's lazy. I think it undoes a lot from characters' previous films. Like what happened in Logan to bring him back and kind of redo his same arc in this, but like have him, we never see it, but he talks about like, oh my God, I wear this suit because I wasn't there when my friends died. Like, ugh. And then having Deadpool redo his same arc over and over because they had to make this team up work. And then just like there's sacrifice at the end, but it's not a sacrifice. Like there's just so much wrong. It looks like bad to me, specifically that PS2 cutscene bus fight, which yeah, it also, I feel like the bit of Deadpool, like the comedy, just like it felt like a parody of the old Deadpool movies. It didn't hit, it wasn't of the standard, man. I feel bad because I wanted to love this, and it's one that just also, like Thor: Love and Thunder, has aged poorly for me. Do I think it's a crime against humanity? Some might say. I don't think so, but I think it belongs in just no. I'm good off that. Here's the tier list. Let's make some finishing touches before we do anything. We'll try to go and rank everything. So here I'd have Infinity War, Winter Soldier. I'd probably go Civil War here. I think I currently have, it's probably like that. This, I think I actually have Ragnarok as a 4.5 on Letterboxd, so it might actually go into all-timer for here, so we'll make that change. Endgame is a 4. These are all 4 stars, I believe, except for I haven't ranked these. But I think I have these as 4 stars too. I think I'll put this in very good as well. We'll swap some of these. Actually, I don't know. I think I kind of like it like this. Endgame. Avengers is better than Endgame. I don't know if that's a crazy take, but Avengers 1 is better than Endgame. Then, yeah, Endgame, Iron Man, yeah, I think that's good. That's about right. I think that's about right. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think this is fine, probably, right? I think that's how I'd probably rank it, to be honest. Yeah, probably. Agatha, I don't know where I'd put it in this. It's a show. It's a weird one. Probably around here, maybe. I don't know. Hawkeye, Ant-Man. This is a row of just forgotten stuff, to be honest. I'd probably keep it the same. Oof category. Nah, I'm gonna respect Black Widow. These though, Eternals is definitely the best out of this uninspired bunch. But yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder and Deadpool and Wolverine in the Just Know category. Yeah. For what I like imagined these films would be and what I got, I was very disappointed. And then Crimes Against Humanity seems about right, and then Haven't Seen. Yeah, so I think this does it. Obviously, opinions change, so I don't know if this is dead set, but it's about roughly what I'd say. I've yapped for 43 minutes now, probably more. But yeah, this was my first ever tier list. Let me know what you guys would change, what you guys would do. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff. I bet you're yelling at me through your screen like, what is wrong with you? But yeah, this was fun. We'll definitely do this again sometime. Definitely not with this many projects because, dear Christ, I'm getting sore in the seat. But yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do whatever the things that you do. Ring the bell. I hear Mr. B saying that. And yeah, let's do this again sometime. Ciao.